It's tabletop time.
I'm Dragon.
I'm Jazza.
I'm Murray.
I'm Jen.
I'm Dave. And that was organic.
That was it. That was seamless.
And tonight, we're playing Warhammer, right?
Yeah.
Finally. Yes. And tonight's episode is brought to you by our friends, the developers at Gateway Roleplay.
Aren't they swell?
Gateway Roleplay is a early access in development game being supported by the Tabletop Time Roleplay Patreon that is attempting to make a really cool new way of playing tabletop role-playing games for people who love wargaming, board gaming, and tabletop gaming. It's pretty sweet. If you want to find out more, there's some videos on the channel. If you want to support it and see some inside scoops and dev blogs every week, consider Patreon.
We're playing with Gateway, as those of you who have been following along know, and might not be familiar with because it's a fresh cooking system, but we're trying tweaks as we go, and we have a couple this week that we'll explain when we get to combat, if we get to combat. But
yes, we have some tweaks. They're going to be cool. We've had a lot of people giving feedback about basically the clarity of combat, and we're trialing a weird initiative system, but could be weird good. It's kind of like chaining some stuff, but you'll see it when it happens.
And we're also trying to do away with re-rolls on matching dice rolls.
Yes.
And we're just going to try applying both effects.
Yeah, you both get the same roll. Guess what? Both things happen at the same time.
You both apply damage, which is probably more impactful.
Yes, that's way cooler, I reckon.
So you match a roll with your opponent. It's actually more incentive to use grit, because the incentive isn't like, oh, we're matched, I don't want to re-roll again. It's, oh, we're matched, I don't want to take damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Or be lit on fire.
Yeah.
All things.
Okay, well, that's it for our little intros. It's time to jump into the world. This is where you take over, Dragon.
Yes, indeed. Haha. Once again, I would like to quickly remind everyone this is a non-canon work of fanfiction, a love letter to the world of Warhammer 40k. Please don't sue us, Games Workshop.
Please don't sue us, Games Workshop.
Yay for Games Workshop not suing us. One thing I would like to say, just in case there's anyone here or watching the recording who may not entirely understand the lore of Warhammer 40k, or is coming from a different area, or doesn't understand exactly where this story is going right now, a quick content warning: this episode's going to be gross.
Hell yeah!
Bigger word than not being sued.
Yay for gross. So yeah.
So this is our fan fiction, and our fan fiction's gooey.
I have to say, because slightly called out, but I do think it's worth pointing out. We mentioned before the Patreon thing, the ties being rolled.
Yeah.
That was an idea directly from Stephen, one of our patrons.
Yes.
So
Nice.
that we're trialing it due directly to feedback and
Thank you,
ideas. So
Stephen.
people are involved in the development, which is cool. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right.
Okay. Jumping back in. Following a strange power signature to a newly, seemingly re-emerged Forge world, our squad made a strange discovery: an Astartes in strange ancient armor, locked in a stasis field seemingly for 12,000 years. Upon releasing the Marine, the power holding the stasis field was dispersed, releasing the security servitors and revealing multiple similar power signatures further into the Forge world's depths. As the squad begin their trek through the barren streets, a single servitor, the metallic remains of a Skitarii, approaches them, rusted and falling apart, ragged scraps of cloth hanging off its body as it staggers forward with janky steps. Its eyes glow with a flickering blue light as it speaks in a croaky mechanical voice. We were alone, lost in the dark, no longer, for we are with him. We walk in his light, his garden, grandfather. At which point his eyes blaze with light, his jaw unhinging as he lets out this wailing screech. The ground starts to tremble. The littered remains of these sort of robotic Skitarii and various sort of scraps of servitors writhing to life as a wave of this skeletal horde comes pouring down the walls around you and comes like charging down the street as an amalgamated horde.
How many are we talking?
Hundreds.
In the duration of that, can I manually quiet the Skitarii via the use of superheated plasma?
You certainly can.
So, like, sort of obviously he gets off the screech, but once it becomes clear that it's a discordant and horrifying, Ramos will just draw a plasma pistol and fire directly at the head.
Yeah.
You rolling for it?
Oh, yep. Yeah. I'm happy to roll for it, or I'm happy for it to just be like, considering what we're moving into. And considering that he's not expecting...
Give us a quick little roll off, victory before we run and pee our pants.
I got 4 successes.
I got 1 success.
Yay.
Good. As this screech is cut off, as the head just like completely gone in a crater of plasma. As you fire off the shot, you're sort of shaking your gun, shaking your plasma pistol, looking around as they're almost like clambering down the walls, rising from the ground into a single amalgamated horde. Among them, you see, peppered throughout their ranks, you see these larger, heavy hulking, with the remains of what appear to be tech ogrons. What would you like to do?
Run. I think I look down at my gun and up and say, "Not even the Emperor's justice can cleanse this heresy. Fall back, brothers and sister."
Protect us up, Captain. Fall back.
It seems our way back is blocked, brothers. But forward, and saying this while moving. This facility is full of bulkheads and barricades. Surely deeper in we can find respite, and you can call down your stormbirds. Bring your company of warriors to aid us.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. At that point, you all turn and flee as they're coming down the walls around you, forming into this, sort of like almost like hive mind horde behind you. I need everyone to roll strength. Ooh. And then you can add what you want to it if you can explain how you're using it.
So what are we doing?
So you're running. This is your run check.
Oh, okay. So we're picking the trait?
Yeah.
No, sorry, we're picking the skill.
Speaking of skill.
The trait was given. So I'm going to slightly take the lead on this because I think it makes sense. As someone who had originally been assigned to come to this place, who was a free agent on the world, I'd like to use my understanding to basically guide everyone through the access corridors, through the path that I know take us to the next hub, based on like my prior knowledge of this facility. So that's why I'd like to use understanding and strength.
Sounds good.
I'll be pairing mine with agility or power. It's the same.
Okay. So you just straight up, straight up powering through it.
All right. Well, with our little steamroller up the front, I'm going to be a bit more conservative. I'm going to use my reaction to basically definitely sort of dodge all the clawing hands and everything piling down the walls around us, and quickly just like with a gentle Superman hand, but sort of guide our captain sort of past most of the dangers.
Yep.
Are we rolling? We're not rolling.
Yeah, so you roll strength,
What are you
and then you can add whatever you want to it, but yeah, like just sort of explain to me what you're doing.
So Marie is going to also pair with agility as well.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Dave, since you declared?
I've already rolled. I got 5 successes.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why is no one rolling?
1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4. There you go, Murray.
Ramos is good at running. I'm good at everything.
That was
Oh, no.
Oh.
Superman's gentle hand is a little weak today. Oh, Ceneric.
What did you get?
4.
Oh, okay.
It's more than Ceneric, that's what I'm at.
I'm trying to help someone.
4? Yeah.
Yep. So,
Oh, poor Charon.
no, sorry. This is the horde.
Okay.
Charon, I don't have that.
Karen's fine.
Charon's fine. Charon's piggybacking on Gunnar.
He's got 8.
I failed so poorly because I'm also trying to help Karen.
Yeah.
Karen?
Yeah, he's Karen.
Charon.
Oh, not like the one.
Charon marked
There's not some like middle-aged,
No.
like a bob hair, like
I want to speak to your manager.
Landed on an abandoned forge world and asked to see the manager. Oh no! Like that was my main concern picking this name. I'm like, it's such a cool name, and yet it's such
I'm
a
sorry.
terrible thing.
Sorry, I'm
no,
so
it's
sorry.
absolutely fine.
I love how that Karen scares me more than a Skitarii horde.
Anyway, all of you charge through. Marie, you sort of like very deftly sort of dodging and passing through various corridors, following after Ramos, who's like sort of leading the way and seems to be sort of scanning as he goes, turning through, the various sort of corridors and walkways. Gunnar just charging up behind, like powering through, smacking things aside. Ceneric, you start to, as you're like pushing these sort of Skitarii, I'm just going to call them zombies because that's what they are. Skitarii sort of zombies aside. One of them, a few of them like latch onto your arms and start to sort of starting to drag you back. What do you do?
I'm going to basically pummel them in the face, so like basically punch them rapidly off.
Cool.
Tear them apart.
Awesome. They are going to attempt to use their drag down ability. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a combat roll off for your. I'd say just for your melee.
All right.
Oh Jesus.
Hey, you rolled well.
Hey.
6 versus 5.
Oh.
You win.
Well, that's going to be for one of them, and then the other one's going to.
Less good.
Yeah, the other one did not do as well. So you successfully batter this one, like the first one off. You go to punch the second one away. You get.
Yeah, I'm reading my own rule for my Skitarii zombie damage.
That will be 5
Bless you.
damage. So you take 5 points of damage.
She's infected.
So, but he managed as it's like clawing at you and
Nervals rock.
stabbing at you as you batter the second one off. You push the second one off. You're at the back, trailing a bit behind, but you've cleared them off. You can hear them like clomping like right behind you. Cool. Round 1, you pass through into another sort of larger courtyard. Looking off to the left, Charon turns around and is like, the second power signature is that way. And starts to buzz, like, hurry on down that way.
That's the first time it's ever happened.
What?
Was that 6 successes off 6 dice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got our new tester rule from last week. That has break 1.
Oh.
So that not only did 1 damage to Ceneric, but actually permanently tore off and damaged some of his armor.
Oh, cool. So you...
Now you do have durability 1 on power armor,
Okay.
which would now be stricken from the record. So you
Okay.
stay at 4. Sorry.
So as it,
Cool. Good catch.
as it plunges its sort of claws into you, the claws catch in the lip of your pauldron, and you hear the of ceramite cracking, and as you bash it off, you glance and see these 3 heavy spidered cracks through your right pauldron.
Cool.
All good things. All good things.
So the three of us have durability 1, which is basically it's like health for your armor. So now that yours is gone, any more break would reduce your armor.
Yeah.
You also know that Hakan is going to be furious.
Just but to scratch. At this point, as
buff
much as we play games of animosity, I am actually starting to get concerned about my battle brother, and at this point, sort of providing a bit of cover fire to fend off his.
So running and bolter, then would it be? So strength and bolter, I will say, then it is. Or would it be?
I was.
No, we're still. So we're back in the.
Okay.
Now we do that thing again.
It's a challenge, yeah.
It's a challenge, but it's like so whoever's caught up. If you want to do that, that works.
Okay.
And we can do that as a. We can do that as your role.
Yep.
But yeah.
Let's give it a go.
Okay.
I'm going to use my. Just use my normal pistol ability. Dual wield.
So you want us to roll strength and something else.
Strength, and so you can roll the same thing again.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's
if
sort
we
of it's
wanna
just a round thing.
How would you feel about me using? It's the same role. It's the same role. So
Yeah.
narratively, so I'd like to use my manifest as a Pavoni, and I'd actually like to temporarily just use my psychic power to basically enhance the party's physicality there.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah. Considering your abilities, then I think that'd be good.
Just a subtle little. Let me lend a hand, brothers. And I lift my staff, my Heka staff, and I chant some words of power as I start to move.
That is a heck of stuff.
The words of power. Let's effing go.
Let's effing go! 4 successes for me.
Okay, and this is my cover fire move, and I've got 4 successes as well.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the same thing. Just keep running in the direction that was pointed out to me.
Cool.
3.
So you got 4.
4 successes.
You got 4.
Yep.
Oh, you haven't rolled it.
Nope.
Ooh. It's only 2.
2.
Yeah. After lagging behind, I'm going to use power just to sort of break through and catch back up.
Yep.
2.
2.
3. No, 2.
Two.
2. Cool. So, what did you use?
I use my attack dual wield.
And who are you? And you're covering.
I'm cover firing for Murray.
Okay, cool. So as
I'm not trying to kill anyone in particular. I'm just trying to basically trying to assist him.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. So all of you, like as you charging on ahead and sort of with Charon like leading everyone through, you know sort of unleash this ability, your manifest to sort of boost everyone's agility and strength in this moment. All of you feel this sudden sort of surge of power through you. Charging, like focusing heavily on charging up. You don't see one of these like servitors coming up to attack you from the left as you watch these 2 or 3 like pistol bolts just over your shoulder as it just shatters. As you as you look over your shoulder, you see this like one of these droids just shatter into pieces, and up ahead Gon is sort of running sort of sideways, almost aiming backwards, firing over your shoulder. Marie, you have fallen behind.
Yeah.
Grant my thanks.
Again, two of these servitors sort of charge forward from the throng to attack you. So 2 of them are going to use their drag down ability on you. What would you like to use?
I'm going to use my sword. There's 2 of them, is that right?
Yep.
I would use my wide slashes ability.
Okie dokie.
So it's 3.
So it's 8 minus 1 for you. Are you targeting both with wide slashes?
Yeah, correct.
So 7 dice. But you roll against each. Okay, so 3 against 1.
So 3 against 1. So the first one that I rolled was also a 3.
Okay, so you damage each other. And then
Second attack.
Second one, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The second one also got a 4. So both of them hit you for 5 each.
Armor.
Well, so is my shield back up after last combat, or is that now gone?
So the rules of the shield are every combat, it's up to Dragon to decide if this is a separate combat.
This is a separate combat.
Okay, so your shield would pop against the first one.
So the first one like leaps forward from the horde and stabs at you with these long, sort of Freddy Krueger claws. As it reaches that point of your shield, the blue energy bursts up and shatters. The second one, charging through, goes straight through the shield.
Yep.
So 5 damage.
Yep. Someone 6.
Yep.
No, minus your armor of 3.
Oh, so
So
then
you take 2
3.
total.
Oh, 2.
Yeah. So 5 minus 3 is 2.
So I'm on 9.
How many are on our tail at this point?
Now, how much health they have as well?
They have 7 health.
Will they both take 5 damage? Ah, Jen, power sword. Power sword them. Be awesome.
Yes. Okay. Yep. What? Huh?
Because you hit each other, right?
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
both have hit
okay, yeah.
both. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
they
Jen's
take 5
ability
damage
lets her
each.
attack multiple enemies.
Yes. Yep.
I just wanted Jen.
No, it's okay. And that's it.
So how much damage does your sword deal?
5.
5 with PS3.
5 with PS3. Oh, ow. So you turn, and as the first one shatters, the first one like reels back from hitting your shield, as you drag the sword straight across the front of it, and then bringing it around, slash at the second one as it digs its claws into your shoulder. You drive your sword into the side of it, splitting it almost halfway at the waist, as it's now sort of hobbling, sort of half split in the middle. You are once again free to run.
I will do so.
Cool. One more time, as you turn down this sort of main thoroughfare, you see at the far end there's a large set of double doors. Large set of double doors, and Charon's just like, there, through there.
There it is then. File in. I'll hold them back.
Once more, I need everyone to roll strength plus whatever they want, just down this last main run.
Okay. I got 3.
I'll be very surprised if I catch anyone this time.
I'm doing the same thing again, just running. 4.
Cool.
All right. Having been helped back up into the pack with the assistance of allies, I'm going to do what I did in the first round and try and basically get the mortals through the door using a reaction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. That's better.
Much better.
Now, having some level of familiarity with this era of technology, Ramos, who was leading the pack, is going to dive around and go back to using understanding to basically get around that control panel on the door and start wrapping in, try and get there quickly, and then start like coding it to shut as soon as everyone's across. I'd like to use that understanding and strength. And get a whole total of 2 successes.
Oh. So
She doth swing around the table.
this is cool.
Cloth broken.
Because you charging up as you're like sort of neck and neck with Charon at the front, who's just been booking it this entire time. As you're charging up, you're preparing. You can see the keypad up ahead. As you're sort of preparing to get at this, you hear a turn, and this like Skitarii zombie seems to be like launching over from a nearby wall to attack you. What would you like to use?
Give it a kiss.
So they are physical things.
They are physical beings.
They are made of robot parts.
Indeed.
Okay, I'm going to use dual wield. And I'm going to strike it back with my Hecker staff and then fire my plasma pistol at it.
Nice.
So any weapon skill. So I am rolling. Focus. And I've completely forgotten. Oh, intelligence. I have lots of dice.
He has completely forgotten
Intelligence. It happens to the best of us.
1, 2, 3 successes.
3 successes.
Of 10 dice.
It got 4. Ooh. So you take 4 points of damage.
Okay. So I take no damage as my armor holds true.
So as it leaps over and starts just to latches onto you, it starts to drag you backwards, clawing, scraping the paint off your armor.
Can I just say, like, the fact that we're playing high level characters is really interesting here because the numbers I'm used to are what we've like would be effed if we were like, and that's kind of cool to note that like actually we're really competent right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also understand that there are odds there that cannot be beaten.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Just a really quick favor. This is a total aside, but can all 4 of us, can we run on the spot and look over our shoulder just a little bit? Okay, that was all. It's just perfect with the whole way. And anyway, all right. As you were.
Charging up to these huge set of double doors, Charon, alongside you, starts to tap away at this keyboard. Can you roll me?
Ramos.
Can you roll me? What would it be? So intelligence.
I can use intelligence.
And you can add what you want to it.
I would like to add my understanding. Wait. I'm going to be wild. I would like to use my intuition.
Ooh.
What's this for? What is he?
So he's attempting to open. See, they're basically together, seeing how quickly they can get the gate open.
Yeah, I'm going to try and work with him. And I'm going to rise into the enumerations, which grants me criticals on intuition checks.
Ooh.
Which is irrelevant. But I did roll 6 successes.
Nice.
You did.
Worth. So as you find yourselves at these huge double doors, Charon's like 2 of these long sort of tentacled cables like pull out of his hood and click into the sides, and the screen sort of flickers to life. Off to the side, Ramos, you start to tap away at various keys, like still having a fairly solid sense of the technology of this. Something in this setup seems off. Like the technology that you know is all there, but this doesn't fit the normal sort of what would you call it? Formula that Imperial.
So, given that I rolled intuition, given that I have that, and given that Karen's next to me, can I as I'm typing, immediately like smash at Karen, knock his conduits? I want to stop him from interfacing with the machine that he's trying to close. As I'm getting there and typing, and he may have already done it, but I'm going to like try and rip those cables out of the system.
What's the intent there?
I am smart and I know how Mechanicus stuff works. And so as I do that, I say, Tech Priest, the risk of scrap code infection in this facility, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yes. Very good. Deal with it. And he turns around and watches as like everyone else is like frantically holding back a horde of. Everyone, roll me some like just ranged attacks if we can here.
I'm busy. I'm gonna say I'm busy.
You're busy.
Yeah.
Can you also roll me? You can roll me that again, like what you just rolled again.
I'm just going to start pumping rounds into the legs of the things running at us. Rolling a 2.
How many dice did you roll?
That was 9.
Whoa,
6.
6 for me.
For my techie roll. I only 4.
4. Cool.
And Jen's combat roll.
+4.
+4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
5.
5.
5.
So, firing off, looking over your shoulder as Charon turns, like looking over the others. You see, there's almost like a carpet of them moving over almost every surface around you, swarming like bugs. And as you turn, various Marines and Marie around you are like firing off at like picking these off one by one, but they are barely holding them back at this stage. You turn back and like ticking through, you realize suddenly like this has been tampered with, but it's not. How do you put it? It's nothing like I imagine your characters had interacted with like dark mechanicum before. If he has knowledge of it.
I'm aware of scrap code and the concept of tech heresy. You wouldn't know it as dark mechanicum, but it's functionally similar. That naughty robot science.
Yeah. There's something different about this. It seems almost something about it seems almost like it's alive, like it's changing, like it's thinking. But finally you manage to sort of like tap through and the doors start to peel open.
It's really funny. I was picturing us closing a door,
Yeah,
not
I thought
opening a
we
door.
Oh, wait,
sorry.
I've got a door sound.
That's the one. That's the
There we go.
high tech science lab door with a computer
Get
monitor.
down to
Resident Evil door.
Giant vault blast door.
Thank God we can breathe for a second because the door cutscene from Resident Evil will allow 3 seconds to pause as we slide through the loading screen.
get down to Big E's Big Shed today. Pushing through, like as Karen pushes through, he points to a button off to the side. That seems to be like just an emergency seal button.
As soon as we're in.
Cool. All of you sort of pile in, pushing through. As you press the button, the doors stop where they are and then push inwards. One of the droids, like at the head of the pack, seems to be shoved forward almost basically into the door frame, and it crunches at his waist as he sort of sputters and sparks, and then the doors snap shut and he flops to the ground.
I'll bend down and just pull out just one of my claws and just slice around its head to pick it up.
I thought you were going to give it a wet willy or something.
No, just one clean, just like,
This planet has been tainted. What do you know of this from when you were frozen?
I had mere moments conscious, my awareness of it, and then my entrapment. Is everyone well? Marie, mortal, you're injured.
Ah, 'tis but a flesh wound.
she says unironically.
Your arm's off.
We should perhaps inform the ship that we are surrounded by the rot of Nurgle.
There are many foes here, unexpected. Shall you call your brothers? Bring down the companies.
We're what we might call a small task force. What you see is, well, unfortunately, basically what you've got.
Well,
What about your brothers? You spoke of companions, comrades that might be. In fact, we pursued a power signal. How near is it?
a demi-company of the finest soldiers in the Legion.
Perhaps they could be of use if they were under similar circumstances to yourself.
I can only hope. Do we know of any of these power signatures?
So, like, do you know any of
No, like, can we find any?
Oh, so as so you pause, the corridor that you're standing in is quite dark. The musty, where was it? Charon turns and regards the grand corridor with awe. Lights flickering on at the end of his snaking tentacle limbs, casting an eerie glow into the darkness.
These halls reek of heresy.
The rusted metal walls disappear into an abyssal darkness that consumes the ceiling, peppered with a galaxy of these tiny, shifting blue lights. The smell in here that seems to sort of almost permeate this area, there's a...
Oh, Generic. Warn me next time.
My mouth was open.
It's the musty...
You manky old dog.
You get the musty smell of sort of dust and old oil, but it's mixed with there's a faint, odd smell. It's almost like a sickly, sweet smell. As you turn to regard the hallway, there is sort of a moment of silence, and then this hollow, sort of lithe voice echoes through the halls. It just says, "And they will know no fear."
Welcome, brothers. Welcome to my abode. Come, join me in the grandfather's embrace.
Madness. Marie, you've got a Voxcaster.
Yes.
Shall we report our circumstances? Where was that sound from?
Sounded like it came from up ahead. Are we flipping off for this one again? Who's first?
I'm happy to take the lead.
All right. Bloody Makan's gonna kill me for this bloody shoulder.
Watch the captain.
All right, I've got the rear.
I'll jump on the Vox and try to contact the ship.
Cool. So putting through the contacts, you expect to get so the general, like the Vox manager? That's not the right word.
Master of signals, the master of the Vox.
The operator. Yeah. Put me through. You get there's a moment, sort of a few number of clicks, and then you hear, "Yes, Marie, do you have something to report?" It is your sister.
Augustine, it's wonderful to hear from you. Yes, we do have found ourselves in a bit of a predicament. It seems that perhaps the taint of Nurgle seems to be here.
Oh, lovely.
Quite.
What is your position?
I'll send you my coordinates.
Excellent. Hakan has had to make an emergency takeoff. He is in orbit waiting for a signal for evacuation. I don't know what's going on down there, but a lot of things just lit up that weren't there before.
Yes, I feel like we might be responsible for that. Either way, we'll try to find a way out to the surface, and we'll meet up as soon as we can.
Excellent.
Pass me the horn. Reaches out the hand to the Vox signal.
Hold on, Granddad wants to talk to you.
Marie, reluctantly.
Do you actually?
Yes.
Ramos just grabs it with the military efficiency.
Shipmaster, this is First Sergeant Ramos Bashir. To whom am I speaking?
You are speaking with Augustine Van Hoss, captain of the Sanctified Creed. Where did you come from?
I am the command lead of a mission on this planet of His Emperor's Legions Assates. Do you have fire support you can bring down? What is the nature of your vessel?
My fire support happens to be standing in your very vicinity.
What class of vessel do you fly?
It'd be a freight cruiser. Was it? Yeah, essentially.
Or a frigate. Yeah,
Frigate. So yeah. So we. I'm sorry. We are the crew of the Sanctified Creed, Imperial Frigate.
By order of His Emperor's Legions Assates, I order you to bring reinforcements from the local systems. This is a dire situation, and I'm afraid your attendant here has failed to express the severity of the situation.
Excuse me, you give that back right now.
One fiery Vox operator you have, Captain.
There's a long pause, like a long silence.
Yeah.
Do you say anything else?
I'm gonna sort of reach across and take the handle from Oath, like gently say, I feel that I can probably answer better. There are...
Oh, no, Ceneric, never mind. I was just looking out the window trying to find this gentleman's ship.
Yes, he has been here for a while, Captain. One might say that his ship may have departed, as he has yet to make contact with it himself.
I see. And, does he have manner of which to do so?
It's possible we could rig this Vox to contact your channels.
Well,
Looks at you questioning.
So what you're saying is, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Very well. Can you put me back on with my sister, please?
I'm just gonna...
Marie takes it back.
Yes, like I said, a bit of a predicament we are in.
Yes, indeed. Well, as soon as you can decipher what's going on, then we can deal with that. In the meantime, as my second in command and head of this little pear-shaped as it is errand, you will remind your new associate that unless he has a ship on the way, or he is some form of warp-traveling heretic, you stand as his only means of getting off this rock. Do I make myself clear?
Absolutely.
Good.
While that's going on, I'm going to take Grimos aside and be like, we are quite alone, and any reinforcements you may already have here may be our only shot at any reinforcement.
I think they have affirmed the chain of command, as you noticed the higher chain.
why didn't you tell me? And he goes over and smiles towards Marie, like completely demeanor changed. Why didn't you tell me you were the second in command of the shipmaster in orbit? I had no idea you were leading this expedition. Forgive my impertinence, milady. And he gives a slight bow. I had simply assumed, as is often customary, that you were one of the scribes or attendants of my battle brothers. Perhaps a rogue remembrancer.
Quite. Well, if we're done bickering, gentlemen, shall we make our way forward?
I'm one step ahead of you.
Yeah. Remember your manners next time when we find whoever was talking to us.
Yes, what was that talk? Strange, mad cultists calling us brothers. Oh, delusional mortals.
I'm going to say I'm like a stone's throw away, sort of exploring ahead, just sort of like, you know, hearing the conversation distantly, but what do I sort of come across? I'm going to use acuity to investigate.
The jury never helps them. They do it sometimes. We'll find them eventually.
So, sorry, you...
Acuity paired with
this would be...
wisdom?
Yes, with wisdom, as you're sort of searching on ahead.
I got 2.
2. Okay, so moving on ahead, you find like this... It seems for the most part, this facility, or at least this corridor, has been untouched for a long time. There are a number of boot prints of varying age, but they seem to be at least infrequent enough that it's not like a completely cleared sort of path. It's just a number of boot prints. They are looking at them and, you know, comparing them. They're Astartes.
Okay.
Moving on ahead, you start to pick up a number of things, like various... mainly the smell starts to change. That's musty old oil change. Well, that doesn't go away. This sickly sweet smell starts to intensify to the point that it is, first I would say to you, being of the, you know, Fenris stock, and then it's a smell that you probably more knowledgeable than anyone else, but it's like it is rotting meat.
Yeah.
It is decay. Continuing down, I just want to quickly jump back over here because I was saying, as you continue on down the corridor, Charon approaches you, and he is holding the...
Approaches who?
Sorry, Marie. Got to get used to that. Approaches Marie and says,
Are you all right?
Oh, I'll be perfectly fine. Do not worry about me.
Good. Yes. It's all a lot right now. Speaking of a lot, look at this.
and he holds out essentially the head of the Skitarii. Something that was shown before. He's like,
charming.
Do you notice anything strange?
I mean, it's a head. Do I notice anything weird about it?
Roll me it'd be reflexes and whatever you want.
Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Seems appropriate. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Mm-hmm. As you look over it, you look at it like it's an old robot. There's the rusted metal plating, parts of it have fallen off. There's circuitry that's fried. The way he's holding it, you start to see down into what would essentially be its spinal column and various sort of cables and wires that are hanging from the bottom of its skull. Mm-hmm. You see these what at first look like just like burrs in the wiring, until you realize that they've got a strange sort of texture to them, like they're chitinous almost. They've got almost like a insectile sort of look to them.
Oh. Yes, these cables look odd.
He looks at them, and as he reaches down with one of the cables from his neck, and he plucks one off. And as he pulls away, you see, sort of like fried, sort of, frizzled like fly legs sort of off the bottom of it. It is what appears to be a large, burnt out fly.
Huh.
And as he holds up the skull from where he pulled it from, you see these two almost like pinpricks into the cable where it was. And as he looks down at the fly, it looks up into the abyss above these sort of little blue floating lights. He says,
I can't be certain, but I'd wager these are those.
Do you think we could be infected?
No. If it seems to feed into the mechanical side. It only affects
mainly he pulls back his cloak, like his hood, and you see various cables and his things, and there are the same sort of flies tapped along as he starts to just sort of brush them off.
Oh.
And he says,
I don't know, but I believe it's they can't manifest when there are living components inside.
Right.
Because it's fine, but these things are infected. It's like a virus, but I believe this is how they're transmitting it.
So as long as you don't die, then everything should be fine, right?
Well, yes, that's
Okay, then we're fine.
yes.
Yes.
Good, but I just
Cheer up, Karen. Everything will be fine.
You notice, I will say, like having someone like, I imagine like you've, especially as someone who is well aware how Charon acts when he is deeply agitated, he seems to be growing more and more like almost nervous and dismayed the further you go in.
Yeah.
Like there is something bugging him. Like there is something like deeply annoying.
It's the bugs.
The moment I said it, the moment I'm saying it, like that was a mistake. There is something that is like, there is something eating at him the further you go in that seems to be like sort of turning, almost completely flipping what was excitement into complete dismay.
I'll tell you what, perhaps we try and find a way out of here. That might make us all feel a little bit more comfortable.
yes, I think might be an idea.
On the exact opposite end of the concerned about chaos spectrum, over here.
Sunshine, lollipops, and
Yes, and Eric, I quite hope the first we meet is Omari. He is as highborn as the best Caliber Knight. I think you'd like him.
Sounds delightful.
Or perhaps could live up to our Wolf brother's need for violence. He always had a streak in him. I thought he would have done well with Father Russ.
Yes, so do you have any way to contact your erstwhile ship?
Yes, I believe so. Not in this facility. We, of course, trundled upon the land in the back of a command Spartan. It should still have a comlink array, but it's a while away from this facility, and we'd need to get out of here first. Several Legion vehicles are in the armory, I guess. We're in the landing inlet. I don't know if they may have been driven back to ships and flown away, but I would assume if the company is still here, there'd be some vehicles around. So somewhere away from us.
Yeah. Logic would dictate that if we can find any of your people still within the facility, then we should be able to find vehicles.
That's right. And some of the Legion's best.
I suggest if we're looking for the people, we follow the scent of the meat.
I'd also think that Spartan would probably raise a little eyebrow of like, ooh, in Karen and Cineric even being a Dark Angel follower, because that's a relic. Might be broken up.
Yeah. There's definitely like as you mentioned, Spartan, like Charon, who's been seemingly doing other things. You don't notice much, but you notice a slight twitch in his shoulders and one of these like floating sort of tentacle cables were just.
She's a fixer-upper. All right. Well, I think we've established at least one port of call. The possibility of finding more allies. And then with that, we can push further in and find the source of this heresy and this mess.
You keep saying words that I noticed you as well said, Gunnar. Words that border on pagan. I would have expected it from you, Gunnar, but
What
heresy.
words?
Well,
the word feels like ash in my mouth.
To
It
be frank.
smacks of religion.
to be frank, do you have any other word to describe what you see before you?
As
I wanna
you
make it-
say this, continuing down the corridor, just because it fits so perfectly, moving on ahead, this smell is pungent. Now it is permeating. As you take your next step, the heavy, like the sort of these like metal clanking of your armored footfall on the.
No, wrong set. Sorry.
Someone falls through a trapdoor.
Well, Gunner's gone. The metal sort of clank of your footfalls on the metal floor turns turns to a squelch. Don't have that on your soundboard.
And as Atheramos reaches that boundary, and in conclusion to that point of, do you have a better word for this? A foul xenobioform.
No.
You, as the lights of Charon sort of move up ahead, slowly it is revealed this strange, pulsing, fleshy pink tendrils that branch across the floor and climb the walls like vines, mimicking the pipes and cables that pipes and cables of the Imperial machinery. They slowly seem to be like pushing into the walls and into the gaps, and they're slowly just sort of.
I am afraid to tell you that this is no Xenos. Unfortunately, you may yet now learn there are those in the light who give themselves to the darkness. And the filth.
I must confess, it is rare for me, but I do not understand.
He's being dramatic, but he's correct. All you need to do, or rather, all you need know, is that they deserve a bullet.
Right.
That will be more than enough.
I had thought of something now. Have either of you seen an owl?
I'm sorry, what?
An owl.
An owl.
Like the
I'm not acquainted
Terran
with this
creature.
military acronym.
I have attempted to call upon my tutelary since I've been here, but my familiar is gone.
Well, yes.
Nothing here is familiar. Brother, are you feeling well?
If you see him, like a pet, I suppose, would be the simplest way for you, Marie. An aide, an assistant, but gone. As if he has been taken from me.
Or died, perhaps?
Oh no, he's not a creature of flesh.
I don't understand.
They're
Like a
beings,
servo skull.
creatures from my home world.
Yeah, fairyland. Fantastic.
That's something you don't see.
Sure.
Like animal servo skulls. That'd be cool as hell.
They have to be babies, I'm sorry. It's the rules.
Baby buffalo skull.
So no, it can be a baby puppy. It just has to be a little puppy service.
Puppy servo.
I'm afraid I have seen no such thing, brother. I will inform you immediately if I have seen any small aid.
Very good.
Not of flesh.
Not of flesh.
So trundle off, squishing into literal flesh.
Yeah.
There is. You mentioned I had noticed that they were Astartes footprints of varying ages. And I turned to the group. I'm up ahead, like I've been ahead, but as they sort of are gathering up, I turn around and
I will point out, though varying degrees of age, there have been other Astartes in these halls. Some quite old, but some,
and I point at one in particular,
more recent.
That's a good sign. Charon, any chance that closing off my stasis field would have turned off others in other parts of the facility? My brothers could be free.
Charon sort of looks at you and then turns, just like neck turns to look at Ceneric and Gunnar, sort of unsure what he's allowed to say as a sort of...
I'm gonna can I do like a spirituality intelligence check to sort of see how much, like if I would know that he just would not know about anything to do with the heresy, or how, like, but I guess sort of what level of familiarity he might have. Or
Yeah, sure. Roll that.
Okay. Challenge. Boop. Yeah, 1. Yeah, cool.
Noise.
Does that mean even you don't have much of an idea about the heresy?
Well, it might be more that I don't know how you're gonna, how you would react or what you
So
would respond like.
I would say, like, even with a 1, from what you have heard so far, and with your sort of instincts and such, and knowing where he's come from, like knowing that he came, you're like, he's from before, all of it happened. Like, I'm not 100% sure like how much you would know
enough that
you know enough that essentially like and from what he has said so far, you just get the way, especially with that statement, you get the idea that he has at least little to no idea that there could even be an Astartes that is not 100% loyal to the Emperor.
I am afraid to inform you, Ramos, Bashir, that just because they are Astartes footprints, that does not mean that they are of those who serve the Emperor.
What nonsense! Brothers, it is Ramos!
Silence! I command you, silence. Do not compromise us.
Wolf, you do not command me anything.
Child.
But...
Wait, old man.
I will. Quiet. What do you know that I do not?
There is much, and it will shock you, but you must hear it at some point. Cineric, you are more politically inclined for these sorts of conversations.
And I sort of grunt and hand it over.
There's a brief moment of almost like a sort of a gasped breath that echoes down the corridor as there's this sort of
Oh, this is good. The little psyker doesn't know.
Step out, traitor! Reveal yourself!
Why, when this is so much fun? Go on, tell him. Tell him what you did.
What do you mean, what I did? Listen not to the heretic.
You speak again of religion, and this foolish voice in the shadows speaks of... well, nonsense he can't possibly understand. Through what witchery do you speak? It is not the practices of my caste.
Oh dear. So much knowledge and yet so little wisdom. Well, I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Many do find them.
With a bolt in your skull.
Or bugs crawling through yours. All will be revealed soon enough.
Where does this voice feel like it's coming from?
Everywhere. Like it
mechanically or etherically?
It is hard to say. There is on one side it genuinely, like, it doesn't sound like it's coming, like it's echoing, like it's coming from speakers. It genuinely sounds like it's coming from everywhere.
I love that you're picking possibly one of the people. There are few people I could hate more than a Space Wolf, but a Death Guard?
Oh, my beautiful, gross, gooey, snotty boys.
At least have a purpose. The Death Guard? Really? Philistines.
There is you notice that, like, there's the sound seems like it's coming from everywhere. There's no echo to it, but it also has that slight sort of slight buzz to it that seems like it's coming from some sort of voxcaster or something like that.
I'm going to step into the conversation, basically literally put myself into it and say,
I do not think we have time to discuss philosophy or history. Let me just say that hope for the best, prepare for the worst. There are someone here that I will not give amusement to. We move on to the objective, and we put down whoever thinks it's funny to talk to us.
I would like to make a check about just getting a sense of warpery, even in, like, because obviously this is Nurgle stuff. But as a scholar of the Thousand Suns, I am aware of the concept of the predators of the Great Ocean and of the strange entities that things can happen. Like even in the Heresy times, Space Marines knew that things happen. They just didn't have a language for it. They didn't understand that chaos gods, there were greater powers behind it. Can I do a check to see if I think this is warp related, which will then give me framework to go forward?
Sure.
Understanding?
So would it be...
I can do spirituality?
Would be... no, it'd be spirituality, I feel, because this is you checking for magic. Let's go... Wisdom. Spirituality.
5 successes.
5 successes. Yeah. You take a moment, sort of rising through the remunerations, finding the various, sort of searching for the telltale signals. There is almost like what appears to be almost like a net or a web of this sort of, it's not in any way sort of like a spell that someone has cast. It is something that someone has built or grown.
Yeah.
As you look up, you see this connect, like this almost like web, this sort of lithe little thread seems to connect all of these little tiny blue dots that hang in the darkness above you.
I stand, then sort of close my eyes, take a breath to the group. There's clearly agitation in the air. I'm ready to move on. Gunnar and Cineric are clearly ready to forge forward. I rise through the enumerations. I separate myself from my body, and I see with clarity. As in voyages in the great ocean and starships, and words whisper into the minds of those weak enough to hear it, this is stuff of what you might call the warp, is it not?
Correct.
Then say no more. The sanguine voice, a trick of the mind, and I smack my Hekastaff to the ground. I exist in clarity and in perfection of duty under the Emperor's name. Let us forge forward and destroy this filth together.
Then we are in concord. Dead Priest Karen, where is the closest signal?
What were we going to say, Marie?
It's fine.
No, please.
No, it's fine. Just keep going. It's fine. It really was important.
The Charon sort of turns and looks down the corridor, and after a brief moment, sort of his cable extends down the way. It's like, that way. It is further deeper into this sort of where these like sort of fleshy sort of tendrils seem to be taking over.
All right. Are we ready?
If we can find some of my brothers, they will turn the tide in this encounter. Marie, this seems dangerous for you, but you've shown yourself to handle in combat well. Stay close. I would not have the second in command of the shipmaster die on my watch. It would do poorly for ensuring passage.
It's all right. She's tough, and she has 3 things that most mortals don't have.
A refractor field.
But also 3 Astartes.
Ah, very good. I like this one. You and I will be brothers of battle soon. So, as we look upon the precipice of darkness, my new companions, I'd like to do something. An oath. And I unfurl oath papers from my waist. And I say, in battle forged, this day, we fight together. We swear an oath to each other that we will destroy the foes of the Emperor, and we will emerge victorious together or not at all.
I cock my head out of curiosity.
It looks similar to an archaic purity seal in visuality, and I scribe these words on this document and sort of kneel down and hold it forward.
I will take your oath.
Forgive me for being skeptical, but surrounded in the halls of lies and filth, I cannot yet swear, for I do not truly know you, and it would be hard to know you truly unless I knew from which company you came.
My company, I've been clear of.
Which Primarch leads you.
My Primarch? The glorious Crimson King. The Magister Templi himself. The Magister of Magisters. I know you don't like him much, brother.
His name, speak it.
I did, but for you, and bows his head a little lower, may know him as Magnus.
I look at Cineric.
You swear an oath with one who serves Magnus! Silence, traitors!
Standing up tall again, and looking slightly perplexed, but then with a severity. Brother, the animosity between Ross and Magnus is well known, but here we fight and die for the Emperor, or we fight and win for our foes.
He doesn't know.
And yet, 12,000 years ago, of Russ and Magnus, one stood and fought for the Emperor, and the other fell a traitor. It's hard to trust one cut from traitorous cloth.
Takes a smell in with the scent of Nurgle penetrating his nostrils.
Ramos stands tall and takes a step back.
I must tell you that, though there is no time to divulge the details, you may not know the truth of who Magnus turned out to be, and who your battle brothers, many of them at least, turned out to be loyal to.
Is Cineric still holding the oath paper that was handed to him?
He is. He's standing there, like, very statuesque still. Just, like, quietly watching, very intensely watching this conversation.
I have made an oath, brother.
And he points at an oath paper on him, like a purity seal.
I serve the Emperor, and if you are indeed sworn to him in truth and in blood for your life, then we serve already and share an oath. That will do for me.
Eyes off the purity seal a little bit.
I will speak my part. I swear an oath, not from one's origin, but to someone who kneels for the Emperor. That is at least temporary proof enough for me. One's actions define one's future.
Ramos steps forward, but still not in an aggressive way, but in a firm way, and he looks like despondently at Gunnar, and he says, "To have an oath of moment rejected by one of the sons of the Emperor, parading around in cloth that bears the mark of religion, speaking words as heretic, speaking of witchcraft and sorcery. How far have you fallen?"
Oh, brother, if only you knew who has fallen.
Tell him.
Not I.
Gentlemen, if we are quite done here by the Emperor's light, we're gonna be here forever.
I will judge you by your actions, but I am willing to fight beside you on this day. For the Emperor.
Quite. Now, if we're done with our discussion here, if you haven't quite realized...
I really feel like all Space Marines are always this serious at all times. Yeah.
It's very much like almost a cutting in, like a girls, you're both pretty.
If you fail to realize something
But
that is...
I love the Emperor more. I love the Emperor more.
We got the Emperor a card on his birthday.
At least some things have changed. Turns towards Marie. when I came from, a Vilka Fenrika
Oh, dear Lord.
would have killed a mortal for speaking to them like that. Be thankful the dogs have been leashed since then. Let's go, brother, and nods to Ceneric, and then just gruntingly nods towards Gunnar.
Patience, I say to myself.
And now we march into the swamp. We needed drama first. I swear, Space Marines are actually like the most dramatic. Like,
So like,
You could
Days
turn.
of Emperor's.
You could 100% turn any of like. There's so many scenes in the Horus Heresy books that you could turn into like Korean drama.
Yeah,
clips.
like soap opera. Like they turn away from each other as they talk. Like both facing the
I
same
want to
direction.
turn away from you as I talk. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Dare you speak ill of my legion?
We walk ahead. There's now a palpable tension amongst
Yes,
our group
there is this.
as the goop thickens.
As you continue like squatching, it's really hard to remain like gloomy when you are like each footfall is squelching. You eventually come to a section where the wall seems to have sort of these tendrils seem to have like amalgamated into like a knot almost, and you see Charon's shoulders sort of slump as he points, and he goes, It's through there.
The power signal.
Yes.
Very well. We march.
All right, we'll move out. I'll take the rear once more. However, I'm moving just a little bit more stiffly, and like I have my helmet on, and there's just the faintest sound of me whispering a mantra to myself coming out of the helmet. It's just quite enough that probably no one can tell, and it's just, he chooses the Emperor. He's chosen the light. He chooses the Emperor. He has not yet fallen.
Ooh, I like that there's a parallel. Oh, there's a parallel.
Well, that's like it works because it's the angel of redemption. Like it's the idea that he's not judging, but yeah, I like that.
I love that there was. I never considered that there'd be a parallel of all the people who could understand exactly what has happened. There is no other Space Marine than a Dark Angel who could sit there and be like, maybe some of them aren't bad. Literally.
I've never seen him do anything. Like,
Who am I to judge?
What if they were unfallen of 1,000 suns?
Can I move forward using reaction intelligence? Or maybe reaction wisdom, just as an investigative, because I'm again leading in front, but wanting to be ready to sort of warn the others and.
Yep. Sure.
Loop. 1, 2, 3.
3. Continuing forward, you. There's a section of the wall where Charon pointed that it seems these. The corridor sort of arcs off and continues further down, but it seems there's a section of the wall where it's almost like it looks almost like they've sort of. Everywhere else, they seem to just have spidered and reached across the walls. In this one section, they seem to have almost like bunched up, like they're trying to sort of push in together or something. Looking over it, you'd gather there seems to be almost like a section, almost like a line down the middle that they seem to be bunched up towards, as if there's like a doorway there or something.
I turn to Ramos and Charon. A doorway, as you were.
Does it look like physically closed by these tendril things?
It looks like it's covered by them.
It doesn't look like one you hack into.
No.
Oh, okay.
It is
Never mind.
like so. It looks, from what you can tell, literally the only way you can tell that this is a doorway is the fact that there seems to be almost like a line down the middle of it where these things.
Well, then I wouldn't pass it on. I would jam my claw in there and turn to the others.
hacking.
And yeah, I'm I'm going to try and wrench it open with power strength if I can.
Yep.
And would like to welcome anyone who wants to help me open it to do a group check.
I won't, just because actually no. I will gesture for Ramos to take up position, looking at keeping watch on the rear, and I'll go and assist with the door.
Okay, so the two Space Marines walk in front of Ramos and start turning their back to him and pulling at a door. Mm-hmm. And he draws his plasma pistol and stands at guard, keeping one eye on the door, and his back to his comrades and allies.
Okay.
And then, with a subtle smile, knowing that they won't know that he helped and knowing that they constantly underestimate him, Thousand Suns always get underestimated, I'd like to assist. So I'll give you a dice by literally withering the biology of the things with the manipulation, weakening them.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, I'm definitely not trying to pull. I'm going to use my chainsword.
Go for it.
Oh,
Two. That was with 2 bonus dice, wasn't it?
I was with 2.
3.
3.
There's a third one there.
Yeah.
Yep.
The light was hitting it exactly.
Cool. Can you roll me an attack, please?
Sure. Oh, I need more than 3.
Yeah.
You think so little of me?
Please.
You get to roll 2.
Bam, but a crumb.
Cool. I rolled 2.
Did you get a bonus dice?
3.
Did you get bonus dice?
Oh, with assist.
You get a bonus dice from me, which was a critical fail.
Cool.
How dare you waste my efforts?
I didn't do much to help.
So you grab hold of one side, expecting Cineric to grab the other side and sort of wrench it open.
But instead,
as you yank at it, there's this sort of, you hear like the stretching and snapping of these tendrils for a brief moment until it sort of stops, and there's like, you can see like a gap about that wide in the door. You were about to turn and see Herrick when you hear the sort of the vroom, 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 and you turn around and it's echoing all the way through the corridors. As you turn around, Cineric's chainsaw just smashes into the top of it and just like straight down the middle, snaps open. You sort of, it snaps backwards, and it's now open.
Yay.
Caron, where is this signal coming from?
Caron, like standing basically right behind you, seems to be just staring into the chamber, and his arm just raises and he points.
You seem uneasy.
He just turns and looks at you, but his like mechanical arm remains pointing.
is he acting differently?
No, well, he seems shocked or sort of a bit spacey, but he's
Okay.
yeah.
Alright. I raise Bolter and proceed into the room where he's pointing.
Okay. You step into the room. There is a large, what seems to be like a comms, like a Vox console, just to the right. Next to it, in front of it, there is the like crumpled heap of a tech priest. You know, its robe sort of dusty and worn and scattered. Just to the side of it, almost like sort of slumped against the wall, there is the crumpled armor of a Marine that appears to be almost identical to Ramos, if extremely weathered.
And behind them, there's a big stasis field full of a big volleyball team of Thousand Suns mid-game, smiling and having a great time.
Playing with the boys.
And a big light that says, turn off to get company of Thousand Suns.
How does Ramos react?
I stride forward stoically towards the body. Kneel down if I get there.
You see the armor itself is, you know, sort of like it is covered in a thick layer of dust. B, it is, you know, sort of worn, and there are chunks out of it. You see sections where there are scratches, there are pock marks from various energy weapons. Though as lying there, you see for a moment there's nothing, and then there is just the slightest sort of faint glow from the eye lenses.
Of the helmet?
Yeah.
Is he wearing the helmet?
Yes.
But he's clearly dead.
Yes.
I'm going to remove the helmet. Slide it off his head.
You find the catch underneath and the helmet pulls away. The Astartes inside is very dead. Like it's almost mummified, being, trapped in this this suit of armor. You look on the inside and you see there's a essentially the blip that shows that there was a message on, or like there's a slight light glowing or pulsing on the inside of the helmet.
As I see this mummified face and hold the helmet, Ramos bends down and gently touches his hand in power armor to the side of this face, and through a rush of like low level energy, everyone in the room sees like the face plump up just a little bit more in this flush of life, like in this desiccated mummified corpse. It just gets a flicker of like a former life to it, and then he just like touches his forehead to the body, and then he says, "You served well, Gyasi." And then he bows again, stands up, looks at the message in the helmet. Do I have to like put it on? How do I activate it?
I would say that this, with it being the message within the helmet, you put it on.
Okay. I pull off my helmet by the gorgeous sergeant's plume and place on the less plumed helmet.
Cool. I need you to roll. No. As you place, you fit the helmet on as it attaches, and there you see the screen is somewhat faded, but as it attaches to your power suit, it starts to brighten up, and you see essentially two, essentially like long distance Vox transmissions. Opening up the first one, it is essentially as you tap it, a floating projection of the Crimson King appears, essentially, and he says, my sons, this is a direct order from your Primarch. Return to Prospero immediately. This is my final word. And he...
Is there like a star date attached to it? Star Trek.
It's... I'm trying to remember when it was.
Well, you don't have to say, just if there is. Yeah,
yes,
cool,
there is.
Cool. It's the date. It's date stamped.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the second message?
The second message, it is about a year after that. And it flickers on, and you see in a similar sort of bust projection, you see Hathor Mart. He seems dour. Like he's standing very sternly, very solemnly. He says, "My brothers, our worst fears have been realized. Prospero burns. All that we have gathered, all that we built, all that we learned, raised to ash by the Wolf King and his dogs. Magnus, the Crimson King has fallen, though his essence is held by his brightest son, Azek Araman. We flee into obscurity. For our people, our survival, we must move in the shadows. If you are still out there, stay alive. We will find you." And he gives, he goes to give the sign of the Aquila, and then sort of looks down at his hands, and then just sort of bows, and the transmission flickers out.
There's a momentary slumping of Ramosis, because you guys can't hear any of this.
No.
Ramos's shoulders just slump slightly. And then he stands tall and stands bright and mutters to himself. I choose not to feel, so I do not feel. And he takes the helmet off, and Mag clamps it to the back of his armor and then returns his helmet on. What war gear is there? Does this guy have a bolter?
He seems to, yes. He has a bolter. Sorry?
Same as me? Like, the magazine, is it dry or?
It's dry.
Okay, cool. I was just checking for ammo because I have an empty bolter. And I turn back to the group, and there is a slight difference in Ramos.
You seem to have come across something.
Yes. Recordings. It would seem what you said is true, and my legion is ash.
Gunnar bows his head. There is no taunt, there is no malice, or he has a sincere reverence and sort of respect and sorrow for what you have just witnessed, and tries to show that, but doesn't interfere.
I have one question. One who was once a space wolf. You were the Emperor's executioner's axe. For what crime were we executed?
Heresy.
Without resorting to paganism, what did we do?
The betrayal of the Emperor himself.
How?
I need a little out of character help.
Yeah. So you would generally know. So Magnus, I don't know if he would know about the final straw, shall we say, but you would know that essentially not long before Magnus, before the burning of Prospero, the Emperor essentially banned psychers. Like essentially banned psychers, librarians. He specifically essentially forbade Magnus and the Thousand Sons from practicing warp magic, and said all librarians in all chapters just need to stop.
Yeah.
Like
Council of Nicaea.
At Nicaea, and the Thousand Sons just didn't.
So he's like, you do it again, you're done.
Yeah, and he did it again very publicly, but I'm not sure you would know about that bit.
Okay. Well, based on what you've said, I do know.
It was a long time ago, and I am no longer a wolf. But what I can tell you is the Emperor had commands, and those who sought the worship of change and power above allegiance to the Imperium denied his authority and continued to act upon their own egos and will. For that, they were forsaken, and the Emperor renounced. For that, execution was required.
For now, I hold myself in the enumerations. My humors are balanced. I choose not to feel, for to feel now would be to die. We have a mission, brothers.
Indeed.
I shall deal with my existential crisis upon its conclusion. But until then, we fight and die in the name of an emperor who decrees me worthy of the executioner's axe. And if the emperor commands, Ramos bows his neck and bears it, then so be it. But this dead man can help his brothers win the day.
As you turn, like, Charon touches, like,
I don't mean to interrupt, but another power signature just opened up. This one seems more deliberate.
he points down the corridor, and you can, all of you can now hear like this slow whine coming from deeper in the factory. It says,
something deeper in is powering up.
and that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I knew it was the end of the episode. I could see it charging up, and I was like, it's the end of the episode. It's over there.
Oh, a lot of drama. It was nice though. It was drama that we've been needing to get to.
It was the drama that was I'm like
the drama that needed to happen before the final action, and now the final action, and maybe the final drama. Join us next week in the concluding episode of
whatever the hell this is.
Fun play time. 3 big tough boys argue while Marie watches in irritation.
Join us next time on 3.5 Astartes.
Hey.
Oh god!
Thank you so much for watching. Well done, everyone.
Hey.
Yay.
Well done. That was awesome.
And we'll see you next week.
See you in the next episode.
See you in the next video.
Yeah, that was
See you next time.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
I think we're up to that's